Someone made a mess in my house. No, wait a minute. Someone spilled dry cereal on the kitchen floor, and then 3 other little someones must have seen it there, but tramped through it anyway, grinding it into sugary powder. Unsurprised, as a father, I instinctively grabbed the vacuum cleaner. The handle was smeared with butter. My first thought was, how did this get here? But my second thought was, you idiot, how could you have been so stupid? Of course there's butter on the vacuum handle. Where else would it be? Why should anything not be anywhere, ever? Why should this toy car not have yogurt painted into its driver's seat? Why should plastic Spider-Man not be floating face down in the toilet? The toilet is not a toy. Yeah, try explaining that to a toddler. The remote control is inside a shoe that was thrown behind the couch. That's what the kids and I find out after half an hour of tearing the living room apart. It's the first place we should have looked. Where's the remote control? Are there any shoes stuffed into any furniture? Check there first, then you won't feel so silly about all the time you spent digging through toy boxes and seat cushions and the kitchen. How does the remote control get into the kitchen? Elves, I think. Pokey little elves who imagine it'll make music come out of the microwave. I need the remote control so I can turn on the closed captioning for the hearing impaired. I know that's politically correct, but I don't like being called hearing impaired. I think it should say closed caption for parents of young children who want to be able to follow the story even though it's in English. When I was young, all of the cool, hip teens watched movies with subtitles. Now I'm the hippest because I watch everything with subtitles. Sometimes in the dark, I put one foot in front of the other. It seems intelligent enough, but it always reminds me of how ignorant and presumptuous I am. Step on a Lego, slip in yogurt, trip over a Batcave play set, twist my ankle in a pair of shorts lying in the middle of the stairs. In winter, the shorts are there. Nobody's worn them in 6 months. They are outgrown. How did they get here now? But of course they're there. Where else would they be? I slipped on a banana peel. Honest to goodness banana peel. Which is funny in cartoons, but in real life it also leaves a streak of banana slime on the floor that once it hardens, you can't get it out with a chainsaw. My house, it's a jungle in there. This winter we had 2 feet of snow. The west side of Buffalo looked clean and fresh in a white gown of bridal purity. Then I would walk into my house, dark and teeming, strange sounds and smells. On second thought, a jungle is a bad metaphor for my house. It's more like, jungle makes me think of kings and lions, although a lion strikes me as a bad king, a predator with a big mouth and that tacky orange hairdo and hiding his tax returns. My home is more like a hive. There's a queen bee and we all buzz around her, and sometimes the kitchen floor is sticky with honey. Everything, everywhere, all of the time. Laws of temporal dynamics, laws of physics, laws of displacement of matter. My house laughs at those laws. And Einstein's theory of so-called relativity, too. Where's the relative to this mitten, Einstein? Where's the other shoe? Elizabeth's keys, phone. Don't waste your time digging for it. Just close your eyes and meditate or pray or dance. Maybe it'll just appear in your hand or on your head or anywhere. You never know what to expect. I was talking to someone. The radio was on, a commercial, and a bunch of children's voices in the commercial said, "Yay!" And I jumped. Where? Where are they? How did they get in here? I'm shell-shocked by parenthood. I've been living in the trenches for 30 years. My first was born 12 years ago, but you add the ages together to determine how long you've been parenting. 30 years. Elizabeth and I need a vacation, so I'm going to take her to Beirut. Because how else could we sleep without explosions and screams in the night? The sunny Beirut vacation, they should call it the family value pack. You know, it's cheap to go there. And you bring the kids, and they'll wear themselves out with a 16-hour shift of knitting souvenir scarves. Maybe the kids could embroider me a special scarf that says, "It takes a village to raise a child, but it takes a village idiot to raise 4 of them." What keeps me alive in the jungle? Nature made me a shapeshifter. Compartmentalize. I am all of this. Then a moment later, I am all that. I can read critical scholarship while 2 kids are playing. One has music on, another is shouting about something. I think more clearly in chaos than I do in silence. And then I'll grab a toddler's foot and start chewing on their heel. I turn into an animal and pretend to eat them, and they laugh. Children develop their ideas about the world, starting with their parents at home. To them, we're superhuman, divine, and that's frightening. But they also see us as animals. The parent is all divine and all animal all at once. Stormy like a thunder being, and smelly like a dog. As a human being, I am a child of the jungle. All of humanity comes from the jungles of Africa. That was our cradle. Twigs snapping in the night, subtle changes of scent in the day, color shifts with the seasons, stories written in animal tracks. Senses, smell, sight, sound, touch, taste, information flooding through our brains. Plus other senses, the ones that we can't quantify yet, the ones only pseudoscientists and Unitarians get to talk about, like magnetism and telekinesis. All of those signals flashing in the brain, lighting it up like Tokyo in rush hour in a thunderstorm. We have that kind of power inside of us because that's what it took for our fragile species to compete and survive. Think a moment about humanity's cradle, the jungle. People used to sleep in trees. Imagine that. You scratch an itch in the night, you roll over, and the next thing, you're grasping for vines while plummeting toward the forest floor. And the big cats evolved, causing a massive wave of extinctions. But not us. Somehow we adapted, survived, and multiplied. And now we, human beings, I was going to say that now we get to keep pet cats as prisoners of war, trophies of our victory, but the cat owners tell me it's the other way around. That the cats won the war and domesticated us to make us their servants. But we not only survived the cats and the hawks and the snakes and the scarabs, we learned from them too. We learned from the insects how to store food for the winter. We learned stealth from the snakes and tools from the apes and teamwork from the cats, and eventually from the birds we learned to fly. And our teachers live in us. The human species spent millions of years adapting itself to survive, adapting itself to fit in with that which is here around us. Competition with lions and owls pushed us to use our wits and hands and tools and communication skills to become some of the most powerful pack hunters on the planet. Ugly, hairy men who wanted attention from beautiful, hairy women had to invent a sense of humor. How many species of animal can say that? But then, starting around 10,000 years ago, some group of people stopped adapting themselves to fit their environment and started adapting their environment to fit themselves. This might seem like the most simple, self-evident thing there is. Of course we change our environment to suit ourselves. We wouldn't last 10 minutes in the jungle. But we as a species survived 3 million years in the jungle. The jungle made us strong and lean and confident and beautiful. Not as beautiful as the panthers, but still pretty good looking. It kept our reflexes quick and our cholesterol low. But ever since we as a species began adapting our environment to make our lives easier, we have been devolving. Civilization has made us soft. Our life of ease has made us lazy. And worse, we've lost that self-confidence that kept our species alive in the jungle. We are taught to fear the challenges of nature, the daily tests of survival skills that once made us strong, and our fear of sadness and our fear of pain has got us trying to perfect ourselves with chemistry experiments in our own blood and brains. Now our longing, our natural longing for interconnection, has created a new jungle, a digital jungle filled with digital souls, where everything is animated, everything radiates with anima, where we can dress up as our glamorous avatars and seek kindred spirits, but often find mischievous digital trolls and people pretending to be programs and programs disguised as friends. The internet is not a paradise where angels meet. It's a jungle where we swing on treacherous vines and predators stalk in the shadows. We survived millions of years in the old jungle. Will we survive 100 years in the new jungle? I don't know. And shutting out our primitive relatives, the salamanders and toadstools and saplings and sprites and seagulls, it's not necessarily so good for us. I'm not saying we should move back in with those relatives, but we should probably visit more often. When we unplug, when we log off, whatever, a brief walk outside can remind us that we are related to all objects and all life forms in so many ways that the whole realm of existence can be seen as a tangled, chaotic web, like a Celtic knot. The more we look at the interconnections between all things, the more we can appreciate how an individual life can be without boundaries, without limits. Everything, all of the time. A messy house, a chaotic mind. It can be scary and overwhelming, but chaos is our natural habitat, and immersion in it brings us closer to our fullest human potential. Where is the remote control? It's in a shoe behind the couch. Once we accept this, we can move on to that even deeper philosophical question. Is the shoe also filled with peanut butter? Thank you.